Hello everyone, Duncan from 6.5 here, Google Cloud Partner and G Suite Partner. We have some quite exciting news today. Google is about to release a tool called Drive File Stream, and this tool is going to solve a number of common issues with regards to synchronizing information that you have in Google Drive on the cloud back to your computer that you use to interact with your files. So let's go across what actually is going on. Now, the cloud is huge. It's infinitely scalable and you can store as much information as you want out there. And your computer is of a relatively fixed size, and in comparison, it's tiny. What your computer might look like is it's a window through to the cloud, but actually in physical terms, the cloud is way, way, way bigger than what's on your computer. So that means that as you store more and more information in your cloud and your Google Drive account, what you can synchronize back to your computer eventually becomes finite, because your computer just can't hold any more. Now, the Google Drive synchronization tool that you probably have on your computer helps you get around this by allowing you to say which files and folders you actually want to sync. So a selective sync tool, which allows you to say, well, call this folder, but not this one. But of course, what happens if you need to use one of the files that haven't been synchronized yet? Well, you have to go into the settings, you have to say, I want this file now, and then it downloads all of that information to your computer, which takes time. So Google File Stream helps to solve this problem. And what it does is it mirrors all of the file listings and the folders that you have in Google Drive or you have access to back to your computer so that you can see them in Finder on a Mac or Explorer in Windows. And that's pretty much what you have now, except for the fact is that the data actually isn't there. It's just a file listing. You can browse and organize them, but none of them get downloaded to your computer. So for example, when you have a new staff member that connects to the Google Drive, what they download is now just a listing rather than all of the data of all of the files that have been shared with them. And likewise, when a staff member uploads a big file, it doesn't get uploaded once and then downloaded 20 times if that file is shared with 20 people. What actually happens is it downloads a tiny bit of information and just says, well, this file now exists. You can also still operate offline, which means that you can decide before you get on the plane to do some work on your way to a business meeting, you can define those files that you'll need offline. Now, of course, that's grand for kind of Word documents, things like Adobe Photoshop and Microsoft Office. And of course, your offline functionality is provided by Google Chrome for your native Google Drive document types. So Google File Stream is really good because the biggest benefit comes when you've got really kind of large files that are shared with multiple people. And instead of there being data for that entire file constantly being uploaded and downloaded, it's stored once in Google Drive, and then it's only downloaded when you actually need to use it. So as you grow your digital footprint and as you grow the amount of information that you have on Google Drive, eventually you'll run out of space on your computer. So this solves that problem by allowing your computer to be a window into the cloud and only having what's on your computer as you need it. So there's less space used on your computer, and that's because the cloud is bigger. It also means there's not as much network use as we've already spoken about. That means that we're not transferring the entire file, we're just transferring a representation of that file. So what are the changes here? Well, the Google Drive Sync tool that you currently have pulls a full copy of all of the files that you have shared down to your computer. When you make a change, it syncs it back up to the cloud, and then that change gets synchronized to all of the people that it's shared with, which means there's lots of network traffic up and down, not just for you, but for all of the people that is shared with. And that means you also need lots of space on your computer because you've got to save those files back on your machine. Now, FileStream changes that by saying, well, it looks like it's on your computer, but actually it's not. And then only when you need it will it get downloaded and you can actually then go make those changes. Now that makes it really quick. And of course, you can still say, well, actually, I need a permanent copy of these on my computer, and you can define those as offline. So fundamentally, we're using less space on your computer and we're using less network, which is also great if you're tethering with your mobile phone or you're using a 4G hotspot, something that's quite expensive in terms of bandwidth. And it also helps resolve those big file synchronization problems with import and export. So what's going on? Well, it's announced to be generally available on September the 26th, and it's going to affect all G Suite users, basic, business, and enterprise. So it doesn't matter what edition you have. If you synchronize files through Google Drive back to your computer, this change affects you. The current Drive tool has an end of life of December 2017, which means you will start getting warnings and you'll need to upgrade and do this piece of software change. And there is a second partner tool which behaves very similarly to the current tool. It's called Backup and Sync, and the best use for that is a server backup tool. So if you have a server in the office where you're backing up your Google Drive files, that's what you'll need you'll need that tool for. So what do you need to do? You can go into your admin panel in G Suite now and enable this change. You can do that setup, and then on September the 26th, your users can then start to change over to the new tool. It's supported on Windows 7 and up, and El Capitan 10.11 on Mac. You turn it on by going to admin.google.com, and it's located at Apps, G Suite Drive and Docs, and then Data Access. There's a really helpful FAQ here with a whole bunch of information, and which is what is really awesome is that they actually have a template email that you can copy and paste and send to your users to instruct them how to actually make this change and the update. So that's all from me. It's a big change. It's very important that you have a look at it and make sure that your users get updated. If you have any questions or problems, you need some assistance making this transition, please reach out to us. More than happy to help make that work for you so you don't lose any data and make sure everything goes nice and smoothly. I hope you have a great day. Thanks very much for listening.